ତାଙ୍କ ମିଶ୍ର ନାଇଁ ନା ମିଶ୍ର ତାଙ୍କର ଥିବେ ଟେକ୍ନିକାଲ ବାହାର କଲ 15 7 ଦିନ ସମ୍ବନ୍ଧୀ
सरला ता नहीं तो
तापर शेयर स्क्रीन करबी ना एमती ही थिबो पैनल
अपन स्क्रीन शेयर करन छै कि
ना मो मॉडरेटर
हां कोइ पर
हां कंप्यूटर ठीक है मैं सुनी पारछ को वॉइस टा मते सुनिबो कि नहीं
वॉल्यूम टे 90 100 हां 100 दे
मैडम टे कहिले आपन वॉइस सुबुची कि नहीं प्रियदर्शिनी आपन वॉइस सुबुनी बंद अच्छे अच्छा से कहउचनी बोले बंद अछि
सीटले दिन को सीट
से तळे अछि एक झटका खुला अछि हां 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 हला मो वॉइस सुबिला तो आगे आगे हां ठीक अछि अच्छा तळे चिपका है तो अच्छा रिमोट मत पटे रिमोट का है वही तो सोफा पछ पटे अछि हां से झरकाटा बंद कर दियो खाली काचटा बंद कर दियो आ एपटा बंद कर दियो
एतो कनेक्ट है ना नहीं हेडफोन की
दरकार
नहीं आपन को जदी सब सुबुची तले कहि परे तले किछ प्रॉब्लम
हां मैडम तो पहले सुबुची बोली रखी दे आने सेटा को बेटर सुनिबो कि
से टिके भलो सुनिबो
कल कनेक्ट कर दिया
brightness will not be. Full अच्छी तरह.
A very good afternoon, one and all, attending this webinar series. I, on behalf of the entire organizing team, welcome you all to this webinar series of ours, which is Kindling Curiosity, Ushering Younger Minds into Research. We have done this, we have started this with a very small, it's a very small initiative on our part to encourage students to enter into research fields, especially the students of life science and other science students, to encourage them particularly so that they'll enter into the field of research. Today we have the privilege to have with us Dr. Ashok Kumar Das, Vice Chairperson, Council of Higher Education, Odisha, who has been kind enough to spare his time with us. We have with us Dr. Sasmita Sarangi, Principal, Rajadhani College, who has not only encouraged us for the entire series, but has also supported us. We have Dr. Harikrishna Satpathy, sir, Advisor, KISS, deemed to be University. We have with us Dr. Professor Sasmita Samant, VC, KISS, deemed to be University. We also have with us Dr. Bandita Rath, who is the organizer and head of the Department of Zoology, Rajadhani College, Bhubaneswar. We have with us Dr. Rashmi Mahapatra, Coordinator and Associate Dean, School of Natural Sciences and Tribal Technology, KISS, deemed to be University. We also have with us Dr. Chittaranjan Bhoi, Vice Principal, KISS, deemed to be University. Thank you, all of you, to help us in our endeavor of starting this small initiative of kindling the curiosity of the younger minds into the research field. I welcome one and all once again to our series. Now I would request Dr. Sasmita Sarangi, Principal, Rajadhani College, to kindly address the session. Ma'am, please.
Madam, you unmute. Principal, madam, please unmute. You are not audible.
Madam, please unmute.
A very good afternoon to all of you, sir. Esteemed Dr. Ashok Kumar Das, Vice Chairman, Higher Education Council, Government of Odisha. Reviewer Dr. Harikrishna Satpathy, Advisor, KISS, deemed University. Respected Professor Sasmita Samanta, Vice Chancellor, KISS, deemed University. Dr. Rashmi Mahapatra, Coordinator and Associate Dean, School of Natural Science and Tribal Technology, KISS, deemed University. Dr. Chittaranjan Bhoi, Vice Principal, KISS. Bandita Rath, HOD Zoology, Rajadhani College. Dr. Priyadarshini Rautre, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Rajadhani College, and all the participants. On behalf of Rajadhani College, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to say that the Zoology Department of Rajadhani College has organized this national webinar series in languages deemed university on a befitting topic like kindling curiosity in young minds and ushering them towards research. And I am grateful to KISS Deemed University for this MOU which we have signed with them. And I also thank the university for providing us the technical support and help. And we also look forward to such type of support in future. Thank you, Madam Sasmita Samanta and Madam Rosmi Mahapatra and Hare Krishna Satpathy sir. It's a great opportunity for all of us to listen to Dr. Ashok Kumar Das, a great scientist and Vice Chairman of Higher Education Council, Government of Odisha, who is today's keynote speaker. He will definitely motivate the young minds towards research and innovation. Thank you, sir, for your kind gesture. During this webinar series, we'll be able to listen to great educationists and scientists like Professor Salibahan from IIT Dhanbad, Dr. G.B. Chaini from Utkal University, Dr. Matthew from Niger, Odisha, Dr. Narsingh Dey from ILS Bhubaneswar, and Dr. Jagneshwar Dandpat from Utkal University, Professor D.B. Bhattacharya from IIT Dhanbad. I extend my heartfelt thanks to all of them for kindly accepting our invitation for this webinar series. I hope this webinar will definitely be fruitful and ignite the young minds. Thank you also. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Now I would request Dr. Hare Krishna Satpathy sir to kindly share a few words with us.
Thank you, Madam Dr. Priyadarshini. It's a matter of great satisfaction that one of the leading temples of higher learning, Rajadhani College, is organizing this webinar on a very relevant and important topic in collaboration of our university. We are thankful to the principal, Dr. Sasmita Sharangi, for extending all support for the smooth organization of this seminar. We are grateful to our VC, Dr. Professor Sasmita Samanta, who is a great researcher and a great guide for the research scholars. We are extremely grateful to our Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Das, a great researcher and innovative thinker, former Vice Chancellor of Utkal University and presently the Vice Chairman of the Higher Education Council of Government of India. And for the successful organization of this webinar, we have got three energized and fully charged scientific brains. One, Madam Dr. Bandita, the brain behind the organization of this new type of seminar discussion, and Dr. Priyadarshini, the brain behind the moderation, transmission, and dissemination of knowledge of this seminar, and Dr. Rasmi, the brain behind the proper coordination of this, and we have also other guests, those who will be educating and motivating us regarding the topic, kindling curiosity, ushering young minds into research. Friends, the purpose is very clear. Yes, the purpose is to just create and generate a climate of interest in the minds of the young research scholars. This curiosity, you have used this word curiosity, interest. If I am asked to define these words, then I would use one indigenous terminology for that, which is very much necessary, a prerequisite for a research scholar, that is Shraddha. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. If you have Shraddha, curiosity, interest, then only you can succeed in your endeavor. And two important components are to be discussed here. One is, yes, whether there is any utility of generating an interest in the minds of the young scholars. When 99% of the graduates are interested just after completion of their graduation to have a placement and to lead a very susta and very easy life. Whether there is any utility, and if there is any utility, this seminar will decide that, and if there is any utility, how to generate that interest. Friends, as you know, there are three main components of higher education. One is the teaching, the other one is the extension activity, and the other important component is the research. Without research, the higher education is incomplete. So there is a utility, there is a relevance of creating this interest in the minds of the young research scholars towards research. And if I am asked how, with an experience of 45 years of teaching and research, I should share, say 2-3 things with you within 1.5 2 minutes. That first of all, it is the sole responsibility of the concerned teacher for achieving this destination. Number one, 3I teaching. Say classroom teaching. 3I classroom teaching means that your teaching must be investigative, your teaching must be interesting, and your teaching must be, say, innovative. And then only you can be able to inquisitive. Your teaching must be inquisitive, investigative, and interesting. Then only you can be able to ignite the minds of the young scholars. Number two, by teaching the students, we must organize seminars and webinars on regular intervals so that an interest can be created. Number three, group discussions can be organized. Number four, we can organize certain exhibitions so that their mind will be attracted towards research, and this exhibition should be on science and social science both. And conduct of number five, conduct of academic tours to the places of historic importance. Number six, this innovative methodology and mechanism to be evolved by the guide himself for various topics and in various places also. That is, and identification of research scholars, that exercise should start from the very beginning, so that we can groom them and we can catch them young when they are young, and then regarding relevance and significance of innovative areas or unique areas of knowledge, we have to create an awareness. Then only, friends, we can be able to ignite the young minds, and we can generate a climate of interest, a sense of interest in the minds of the young scholars. And keeping that thing in view, our honorable founder, Dr. Achyuta Samanta, has created this university, and we are focusing on unique areas of knowledge, that is tribal culture, philosophy, eco-spiritualism, tribal history, tribal languages, tribal literature, tribal jurisprudence and legal rights, tribal science, tribal technology, tribal medical system of medical treatment system. All these things we are doing. Tribal resource management. This is an interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach, and our main focus is to create an interest in the minds of the graduates and the pass outs, so that they will be at least 10 to 15, 20% of the pass outs should devote themselves towards research. With these words, once again I express my deep sense of gratitude to Madam Principal, Bandita, and Priyadarshini and Rasmi, and we are grateful to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sasmita Samanta, for giving us full support and freedom for organizing this kind of intellectual gymnastics for dissemination of knowledge, and we are grateful to Professor Ashok Das, the keynote speaker, who is here to motivate us, to educate us, to enlighten us. A great researcher, he has handled a number of schemes and projects, and under his active leadership, Utkal University was accredited with A+ grade by NAC. We are very grateful to a great educationist. I hope that Dr. Sasmita Samanta, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, will set the tone of the seminar in her inaugural address. With these words, once again, I express my thankfulness to you all for giving me this opportunity to get my associated with this webinar. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for all your encouragement. We are very grateful to you for all the help we got from you. I got our information that Sasmita madam isn't available. So would you like to take the opportunity to shed a light on the essence of this? Dr. Harikrishna Satpathy, sir. Sasmita madam isn't available. So
oh, madam is not there, then all right. I think because of some other engagements, she may be occupied. So anyway, that in continuation of my presentation, I would just like to add one or two more things that I was just mentioning regarding the areas on which we are focusing here. Our research must be interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary in nature. And our teacher means it is all the duty. Each individual teacher must understand his or her responsibility for creating an interest in the mind of the young students for research. Because a teacher, the activity of a teacher is not confined to the four walls of the classroom and confined to teaching only. As I told earlier, that research is one of the most important components of our higher education. Rajadhani College is an institution of higher order in respect of higher education. And in this, yes, in order to generate that interest in the minds of the tribal students, Rashmi will be, say, in a better position to explain all those things. And that we are doing a lot of things. We are organizing exhibition on science and social sciences. We are taking them to the places of academic interest and historical importance. As a result of which now it is found that nearly 10 to 15%, 15 to 20% of the students pass out. Yes, they are very much interested for conducting research. We are not able to accommodate all the research scholars here because of the paucity of adequate number of guides. Yes, we are in search of guides also. So now, no doubt, they all belong to the marginal community, and they are all below the poverty university generate that interest in the minds of the unexplored areas, which this tribal culture, philosophy, spiritualism, all these things are on the verge of extinct. And this comparative tribal languages and comparative tribal literature and this tribal jurisprudence, each tribe has got its own legal system, its jurisprudence, its system of sorting out the problems and the legal complexities and their legal rights and the medicinal treatment system of since it is organized on behalf of the Department of Life Science, you will appreciate it. That the tribals, the indigenous people have got their own system of medical treatment. and which is very effective, very productive, and particularly during this Corona period, yes, their system works very much. So that we also, on behalf of our life science, which is being headed by Rasmi, yes, it is also taken up for teaching as well as research, and then tribal resource management, for which science is also required. And it must be this resource management of the tribal should be scientific in process, and this tribal heritage, it is very, very important. It is a scientific heritage, it is a tangible heritage, it can be intangible heritage. So all these things are to be, first of all, we have to identify the areas on which we should focus, the problems, and the identification of the research scholars from the very beginning, while giving them education in the graduation level. Yes, from that period, we have to catch them young. We have to identify them. That here is a boy who has got a scientific temper, and this is the responsibility of each and every individual teacher to do him. Tat padam darshitam jena tasmai si gurave namah. Arthat tat padam darshitam, he who is a good guide is the best teacher. If the teacher is not supposed to teach and to ensure that the student secures 90% or 100% marks, but he has to give him guidance. Tat padam darshitam jena. So this is all, and I do not want to take much of your time, and I am very happy that the scholars like Professor Shalivahan, Dr. Bimalendu B. Bhattacharya, Dr. Nishina De, Professor G.B.N. Chaini, Professor Jageshwar Dantat, and Dr. Ranjit Matthew, they are all here, and they have to decide whether this research should be a profession, should be or it should be a mission, or it should be a vision, or it should be a destination of the learners of the education. So friends, unless and until we feel hunger, we feel starved, we cannot enjoy the food. That is the reason why it is a collective responsibility of the educational institution to create a hunger for knowledge in the minds of the young students, so that they can enjoy the research. Unless they are thirsty, they cannot enjoy the water. So in order to quench the thirst, we require water. So in order to quench the thirst for knowledge, hunger for knowledge, starvation for knowledge, yes, we have to provide them a platform for conducting research, and this creation of honors, honor or starvation is the responsibility, or generation of Shraddha is the responsibility of our valued colleagues. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for all your encouragement. Now I may request Dr. Bandita Ratha, organizer and head of the Department of Zoology, to kindly introduce our keynote speaker of the day. Madam, please.
Good afternoon, honorable dignitaries present in this forum, respected colleagues, dear participants, and my dear students. A few months back, while I was going through the annual report of All India Survey of Higher Education 2018-19 by Department of Higher Education, statistics baffled me. It stated, and I quote, enrollment for PhD is less than 5% of total student enrollment for higher education. Apart from many other reasons that is holding back students from joining research, lack of awareness about this wonderful world of research too has generated a substantial gap between research. Too has generated one of Keynote speakers, distinction of Odisha State.
Sorry to interfere, madam. Madam, your voice.
Honorable
Bandita, madam, your voice is not.
Yes.
To this platform. Will you kindly come up to kindly come.
बस्तिया बाबू देखंतु कौन होची मैडम कर वॉइस काहे की इट इज गेटिंग ब्रोकन देखंतु टिके
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for this technical snag. I'm sorry. So this data was a basis that led to the conception of the webinar series. And for inauguration, we could think of none other than a highly acclaimed scientist who in one of his interviews described himself as a lab rat, and aptly so, for he has dedicated himself for the cause of science. Today, I am honored and delighted to present the keynote speaker of our webinar series, distinguished scientist, former Vice Chancellor of Utkal University and Vice Chairperson, Odisha State Higher Education Council, Honorable Dr. Ashok Kumar Das. Born in 1953, Dr. Das graduated from Utkal University in 1971 in physics. He did his post-graduation in nuclear science at the prestigious Bhava Atomic Research Center in 1973, followed by his PhD in the year 1980. He would later head the Laser and the Plasma Technology Division at the same institute. A scientist with impeccable research acumen, Dr. Das has presented over 1,500 papers at various conferences, workshops, and symposiums at both national and international level, including countries such as Russia, Italy, Czechoslovakia, Israel, and South Africa. He has won many awards, accolades, and commendations. Many students have garnered PhD degree under his able guidance. Honorable Dr. Das also headed our State Historic Center of Academic Excellence, Utkal University, as Vice Chancellor. He is the first professional with research background to hold this post that has traditionally been filled by academicians. His leadership spearheaded Utkal University towards the prestigious A+ accreditation by NAC, which is currently held only by a handful of state universities in the country. But that's not all. Honorable Dr. Das, as Vice Chairperson of Odisha State Higher Education Council, is involved in developing policies, educational reform, and promoting excellence and inclusivity in the state education process. We are delighted and grateful for the opportunity to have Dr. Ashok Kumar Das lend us his presence as keynote speaker of our webinar series. Without any further ado, I would like to hand over the platform to Honorable Dr. Ashok Das, sir, so we may hear from him. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, Bandita madam, I had requested that it has to be a one-sentence introduction. I think she has violated our agreement. And that is, I was afraid that she will do this. This 1,500 is a misnomer because I never give this 1,500 figure. It was a newspaper when I joined Utkal University, somebody published wrongly. Because if I have published 1,500 publications, then I have done nothing else in my life. And so this actually is something very suspicious, except of course people like CNR Rao. Nevertheless, of course, I see the esteemed Professor Hare Krishna Babu, and of course your esteemed principal madam, and a lot of young intellectuals, academics who are attending this. And it is an interesting title, that Kindling Curiosity and Ushering Young Minds into Research. Now, it is actually very interesting now in light of the new national education policy that is being implemented. And after 70 years of independence, more than 7 decades, the policy has started talking about, right from the school level, throwing out the old British colonial system of education that we have been feeding students and then getting into asking questions. Now, so this actually, when this topic was told, I got interested basically because I am in Odisha maybe now 5 years now, and this issue of kindling curiosity and ushering young minds into research coming out from a college is something first time for me. So this is admirable, and I must also express my thanks to KIT and KISS University for also collaborating and encouraging such things. Now, what is curiosity? It is taking an active interest and your genuine desire to know more about a topic. And that you know through activities, adventures, and maybe open up new exciting opportunities. Now, are you born with a curiosity? All of us, when we were born, we had a lot of curiosity. But when I was a child, or even in ancient times, the proverb was curiosity killed the cat. So if you are curious, then your parents will maybe give you a slap. Your teacher will say, "Shut up," and don't ask too many questions, or they will tell you that you are one who is asking too many questions. So keep quiet because I have to finish the course. I have to finish the syllabus. What for? Now I realize at the age of 67, 68 that that is to only make me a good, well-knowledge clerk or an administrator. Definitely not a researcher. Because if I cannot ask a question, then I cannot, a child can ask a father that why the sky looks blue. Now, if the father does not know, he can always tell, and now that Google Maharaj is available, you go and try to find out that light gets scattered and in water vapor available and you get a blue color. But हम वो नहीं बोलते हैं आमे केही से कथा कहूनु गोटे बेसी चालाक हो जाउछि गोटे जाबडा पकेला से एटु कांदी कांदी गला तापरे उसे केबे क्वेश्चन पचारिबो ही नहीं. You will never ask a question. And that has been our life. And that is why I have been very happy to read the new education policy, though I do not agree with all of them. And I am extremely suspicious of our capability to inculcate this as a culture. Because to inculcate this as a culture, we need to go back to childhood, the children itself. And I believe this whole art of teaching, it is said that the whole art of teaching is the art of awakening the natural curiosity of young minds. So when the government talks about 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that is the age up to 5 years, you can ask questions. You can forge into unknown areas. You can make mental adventures, and this will be supported. It fills me with a lot of happiness because this will become a habit. I often say, even when I was in BRC and we run a training school and I used to teach, even at an organization like this, if a young man asks too many questions and I as a teacher do not know, then I will give a veiled threat कि ज्यादा सवाल पूछेगा तो तुझे देख लूंगा. This is something which is basically a crime as a teacher, because no question is foolish. It is only answers that we give. They can be good, they can be correct, they can be foolish, they can be incorrect, and there is no harm in admitting that बच्चा मैं ये जानता नहीं हूँ. I'll come back tomorrow with a better explanation telling you how this happens. So how does one enkindle curiosity in young minds? I think it starts with parents, but now that 5 years is the first stage pre-primary, I think the bigger responsibility goes to the teacher. And what does the teacher do? First point is teach them to be open-minded and question everything. Why should I eat this? Why should I eat something which does not taste good, but my father says it is healthy, so you must eat? Why the bird flies? And how does the aeroplane fly? It is not necessary that the father knows, but it will make parents on their toes as well. And so teach students, children to be open-minded, anything that is new. and teach them to take nothing for granted, absolutely nothing for granted. And then one part which Shraddha Hare Krishna Babu said as Shraddha is something which in Angrezi mein bolte hain passion. You can do research provided you have a passion, but you are not born with that passion. It is not strictly genetic. So you are inculcated with a passion, something you like, and you get into it. And so develop passion and avoid routine. हर एक दिन आए आओगे 9 बजे खाना खाओगे, वही दलिया खाओगे और उसके बाद जाके कॉलेज में बैठोगे, मे बी इन द लास्ट बेंच, listen to the same routine and come back, is not correct. Human mind has infinite capacity. You would learn this. When I was a student in school, I used to learn only a small amount of things. Today, when I see 10th and 12th curriculum, I get astonished. Could I have learned this and passed? So, human mind has infinite capacity. It is up to us to challenge it. And the more you challenge, the more you provoke, and the more it will go into good areas and it will expand. And the last one that I want to tell is actually make them uncomfortable, which comes in the we have heard this proverb that necessity is the mother of invention. आप किसको खाने को मत दो, he will find a way to find food. So you don't keep them in that comfort zone. You will find, if you read the story of people who have become great people, they have had to work because there was a necessity in a certain direction and developed a passion. So these 6 factors probably would help to inculcate curiosity. And as Hare Krishna Babu rightly said, that it has to be done by parents and teachers, and particularly at a young age. And if that doesn't happen, then once I have enkindled curiosity, what does it, how does research come into picture? Now, history has taught us that if I am curious, you remember, suppose Newtonian apple, concept of Newtonian apple, everybody has heard of it. A lot of us sit below a tree, and sometimes we have bad things falling from the tree. Maybe a crow passes, makes his natural duties on us. But have you ever asked? We accept a lot of things as routine. A hell of a lot of things we just accept as routine. If Newton had accepted that apple पेड़ से गिरता है, मेरा क्या जाता है? How does it help me? Einstein would have asked कि whatever special theory of relativity says and the time as a new coordinate, ये मेरा कुछ जाता आता नहीं है. Everything is being explained. Why should I bother? Same thing you imagine. Sir Isaac Newton, then Marconi, then our own Indian Jagdish Chandra Bose. You must have all have heard of C.V. Raman giving Raman effect, and Raman effect is today all pervasive. Everywhere, everything, the diagnostic, the monitoring is through Raman effect. If you see somewhere the photograph of Sir C.V. Raman's lab, when he discovered it, it was one of the most primitive things. It actually says, if I want to do something, I would do it. I may not have much money. I may not have too much of equipment. I may not have sophisticated equipment. But if I have passion, I'll find a way to do something. And that is the greatness of some of these very intelligent Indians, where there is no access to great equipment, but we are able to innovate and do things. And today, to an extent in science and technology, we are able to stand on our own feet. I tell you about another gentleman, 2 Bengali gentlemen. One is Professor Meghnad Saha and one is Satya Bose. You imagine solar spectra in the world, why in sun spectra certain spectroscopic lines appear. Nobody in the world, no astronomer was able to explain, because it involved a new concept called thermal ionization. But a man sitting in Calcutta with a slide rule. I don't know how many of you have seen a slide rule as a calculator. There were no calculator those days. He interpreted the entire spectra and published it, and he is still acknowledged as one of the pioneers in this particular field. So you see, the early Indians or the early human beings, when they settled on a riverbed, they started crop rotation. So agricultural research started. Then came James Watt. They discovered fire. Then they started using fire, innovated with fire, and fire has been our lifeline even today. Whether it is atomic fire, whether it is nuclear fire, we still, without fire, human beings cannot live. And James Watt converted fire into a steam engine. Then came people like Michael Faraday, Thomas Edison, and found out ways and means because of their innate zeal of finding things. They went for, and our own Sir Jagdish Chandra Bose developed the radio communication, electromagnetic theory, then electronics, semiconductors, and so on. Today you find the information technology, computers, and biotechnology and genomics. Because this is being organized by zoology, they would have that we have reached a stage where my childhood I used to read as science fiction stories. I would not be able to imagine that I will use a mobile phone. I still remember that I had to wait 7-8 hours to call my father from Bombay with a person to person trunk call. And today I go to Himalayas and carry a mobile with me and maybe a sat phone, and from middle of ocean I can definitely connect. So you imagine that the things that research and innovation has happened during the entire human evolution is because curiosity led to find things, necessity led humans to find things, and we went through 4 industrial revolutions, and today we are on the fourth, and we are on the way of bringing in machines to do work for us instead of human beings doing manual work, and we probably would shift to more intellectual work. And curiosity is at the base of it. Of course, curiosity must be strengthened with more systematic structural education, because having a curiosity or having an idea today is not enough. You have to prove it. It is the days of Marie Curie, who burnt the entire furniture of our house to find radioactivity, is no longer there. We have reached a sophistication where we need a structure. There has been a misnomer in India for quite some time, at least for the 7 decades that we have seen, that all research happens in science. I have not seen a more worse and wrong statement that has been made. Social scientists, I have found, always think that hum kya research karenge, we'll do some tinkering around, maybe we'll make a government policy, and science wale to sab karke le lete hain. All inventions belong to them. Imagine, I'll give you a few examples. You imagine Korean making the cooperative model, milk cooperative model in India. Imagine when I was a young man of 20 years, I used to stand in a queue which will extend a mile to get a half liter of milk with an aluminium card. You see the revolution, social revolution that has happened. The social revolutions that have happened in food, agriculture, in nutrition itself, in political, all over the world, in different political theories, language, understanding history. And so, to my mind, if we are going to be in a sustainable world as UN wants us to be, if we want to win over the climate change and the all bad effects of climate change that is happening, then social engineering, cultural engineering is probably one of the most important factors that we must look at. And that is going to be the crux of things in future. And so my appeal to all social scientists, this is a digression, that please start thinking in terms of research and innovation on your side. Do not think it is only a vehicle to get a PhD. Now, why is research important for youth? The research, why is research today more important for youth is that it helps, of course, in understanding the mysteries of nature. And you imagine that we are now growing at a very fast pace. We are facing unprecedented climate change. We have reached a stage in communication and energy situation, healthcare, nutrition, and in India in particular. You imagine we have 40 million students in the age group of 19 to 25, and probably 1.5 million plus teachers in 1,000 odd universities. Now, with this resource, if our young people, if our young minds are not inquisitive, and we teach as we teach them today, I am very disappointed that today, to me, it appears the aim of teaching is black box concept, that somebody comes in, becomes employable and goes out. He can be employed as a IS officer, OS officer, he can be a clerk, he can be a clerk in a company, he can become a manager, but will he become knowledgeable? Will he become a knowledge creator and wealth creator? I don't think we ask this question in our educational institutions. And our young people now ask for institutions which has a good placement record. So all of you are abetting, and me too, myself included, are abetting a commercial activity which is making machines people for job. The educational institutions are job sellers. They are not knowledge sellers any longer. So it is time that we reverse this. And if you want to reverse this, then you must understand the importance of research. Now, in my life, I have faced many times when I tell a young man, "अरे तुम research क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो?" The first question is, "सर किसके ऊपर करूं? क्या करूं? आप बोलिए, what is the problem?" I get very disappointed. I go to many colleges and I meet young faculty, zoology, botany, physics, chemistry, sociology, history. सर आप रिसर्च कर रहे हैं? सर किताब लिख रहे हैं सर. आप किताब लिखेंगे, उसमें कुछ रिसर्च रिव्यू है? सर हमारे लिए क्या है? What I want to insist, you look around yourself. In fact, one of the ideas of curiosity is allow the child to go into nature, go into the environment and ask questions. Because if he sees the environment, mother environment, it asks. So what you must never think, ki, why should I do research and what? The moment you ask me that मैं research किसके ऊपर करूं, which means you have never applied your mind to it. That is basically because you are a product of the colonial education where you have been encouraged never to ask and always to complain. Because the British India clerks only complained and nothing else. And therefore, you must get out of it. Research is defined as what? More deeper study of nature of things too that are happening. Now let us look around us and see. You see, I am of a generation that is waiting for God to call me up. But my generation, where Hare Krishna Babu is also included, has actually done wonderful things for human society. But it has also spoiled a hell of a lot of things for which we are leaving these young people to resolve. हमने थर्मल एनर्जी कोल बर्निंग करके बनाया and everybody has electricity today. You know, for every kilowatt hour of electricity you consume, you are polluting the world, where the temperature every year you are putting another 3 air conditioners in your house and again polluting the atmosphere. The new diseases, the new virus. So one is today, one of the major problem is you need carbon less and zero waste sources of energy, both in central power station and distributed mode. Distributed why? गांव में भी लोगों के पास आना चाहिए ना ये cable loss. Electricity, when it passes through cable, there is a huge loss. and that we must try to materials. आप material का history देखेंगे, for everything you need material. एक हाइड्रोइलेक्ट्रिक पावर स्टेशन यू नीड मटेरियल. आपके घर में जो कढ़ाई में आप खाना पकाते हैं कितना, फ्रॉम ए आयरन कढ़ाई इट हैज बिकम ए टेफ्लॉन कोटेड, एंड दैट कोटिंग इज चेंजिंग एवरी डे, एंड so you need new and new material and in microstructure, nanostructure, so that you can have beautiful things. Waste management, this the world that people like me and my fathers made, the industrial world is today full of waste, and the new generation must find ways of handling this waste into useful product. Agricultural yield and resilience to climate change. The way climate is changing and the way Odisha is getting typhoons and cyclones, we must find crop resilience. We must find ways and new crop which can grow in very great high temperature, water immersion, saline atmosphere. Otherwise, we'll die of hunger. And so, think of this kind. Healthcare. Healthcare has gone in. We have seen the holes in our public health system when COVID came. We have seen the holes in our internet communication system when you people started making online classes. 20% of the students in tribal areas are sitting on the top of a tree, extending their hand that some part of the signal comes to them. So, water and nutrition, water pollution, every kind of polluted material from water can be taken out. Technologically, we are that great, but nobody has innovated that 500 rupiya mein gaon mein wo filter available ho. We are not able to make it. Odisha specific problems, mineral processing. Our minerals goes to China, gets processed and sold at 10-20 times the cost. Biodiversity management, you imagine Odisha's biodiversity. Are we managing it? Are we utilizing it for, they say, Hare Krishna Babu bole, for medicine? Are we learning from tribal medicine? So, marine resourcing, ballistic physics, tribal studies, language, literature to learn from the past. So many things are there, but हम वो सोचते नहीं है. That is because we from the childhood हमू के कोई नहीं बापा तू प्रश्न पचार आउ से प्रश्नर जदि किछि लाभ नाही ताले छाड़ी दे से विषय रे भाबिबा. आमे करूछु कोन पीएचडी पे कि जाउ कोने गाइड पाखु एंड ताकू पचार तू सार आमे कोन करिवु. से गाइड तार जीवन सारा जहा काम करछि ता दियरे आउ टिके माल मिसेई कि हमू कहूछि तू एइथरे काम कर, so that you can easily replicate and 3 वर्ष रे तते डिग्री मिल जिवो. मु पीएचडी डिग्री नै कि जाउछि मो वाइस चांसलर पाखु मोर इंक्रीमेंट हबो कि नै. मु प्रोफेसर कोन हेबी. You become a professor when you are knowledgeable like a professor, and if everybody thinks in that manner, most of our problems would get solved. And of course, problems like foundational studies on origin of universe, grand unification of forces, understanding human genome, and making a bio bank, then astronomical objects, quantum teleportation. You know what is quantum teleportation? I will disintegrate you into atoms and make you appear in America instantly. You have seen it Star Trek. But today, atom molecule wise, it is possible. What I read in my childhood in science fiction, I am seeing it happening today. So it is, these are in the realms of possibility, and therefore we need to work on foundational biology, foundational physics, foundational chemistry, and translational issues that are happening. Same thing in social science. Now, as I told, today philosophy, the philosopher should give us a contemporary ethics, which I can practically inculcate in students in school and colleges, that they do not run on the streets of Bhubaneswar with lathi, so that student strike can happen and some people get beaten up. They should focus, because we are not challenging them and we are not defining ethics. We are invariably late because there is no ethics. I am a powerful person, I can be late. So, philosophy, political science, resilience to climate change, geography, geology, vulnerable populace resilience. So social science offers so much, but we are always saying social science का relevance क्या है? It is all foundation. So how do we, I come to the last topic that you people have given as a topic is ushering young minds into research. So how do we create young researchers? Now, of course, the passion for creativity, problem solving, logical thought flow, as I told, must be inculcated very early in life. So early education has to incorporate the passion for building things. Let a child break a radio and try to make it. आपका कितना रुपया जाता है? 400 रुपया जाता है ना? He will bring back 4,000 rupees by that rebuilding that. But जैसे वो रेडियो टच किया, मैं आके उसको एक झापड़ लगाता हूँ कि तू ये रेडियो और टच नहीं करेगा, वो जिंदगी में क्रिएटिव नहीं बनेगा. So we must go through activity mode of learning, which again NEP 2020 has said experiential learning, group learning, and some of the national law schools, you know what they have done? They put a faculty in a class, additional faculty to ask questions, because students are little embarrassed to ask a question to a teacher. So the faculty raises the discussion, and this is called dual faculty teaching. And it has been extremely successful, because I was a member of one of their Maharashtra law school, and I found this incredible. And I tried to suggest it to Utkal University, at least one course, start this dual mode questioning of class discussion. You know, in Odisha, we have recently started, from this year, all of you will be sufferers of this, that 25% of your syllabus will be self-learning and tutorial mode. And that is second. And the unit 2, so that the child is forced to learn, and your evaluation in your internal would be from that unit. And this, so we are forcing the child to think, and we are also trying to make the examinations through a process where the child will be forced to think, and because the examination is the first gate. So the countries, Western countries like US and UK, it has graduate researchers, it has student researchers, it has a forum of student researchers. Student researchers are given equal. And you imagine, आपका एक undergraduate student, suppose you take along with you, he learns how to do literature survey, how to go to library, how to analytically assume, how to look at data, how data will speak to him, how data speaks to you. And then he also looks at you and sees, array, my professor is so knowledgeable, she is able to, or he is able to do so many things. So the bonding between the student and the teachers becomes fantastic. So there is a lot of good things in terms of making a student researcher from undergraduate level. And I am so glad that the NEP has a 3 years undergraduate and a 4-year undergraduate, and the 4-year undergraduate has a 1-year research issue. Unfortunately, you all know in Odisha, all the universities were equivocal, state universities, कि सर ये project हकाल दो, because choice based credit system had a project. ये project को आप निकाल दीजिए, only 2% student do, बाकी 98% copy करते हैं. Then we asked कि if 98% are copying, then how the hell you are giving 100% mark to them? You know, in Odisha, 10 universities have anti-plagiarism check software, the best of it. And government spends $5,000, $6,000 per institute on this. We blame government of Odisha, but government of Odisha has done this. Universities do not use this. Do not use this, because unka dar hai, all guides will become defamed. So we need to keep our house in order, that the graduate researcher scheme, the projects have to be taken extremely seriously. And anyway, you can operate in 4 modes. The child can work and you can be supervisor. You propose a project and work with the child together, in which case आपके साथ एक student काम कर रहा है, तो you will be morally bound to do better things, and you will be morally bound to read up. आप ऐसे तो जाके बोल नहीं सकते हो, आज मैं कुछ नहीं पढ़ा, आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा because you are the teacher. So this is a concept which is forcing both the child and the teacher to become a symbiotic unit and work together, and this is only a win-win situation. आप इमेजिन करो, आपका जब पहला पब्लिकेशन आया इन इंडेक्स जर्नल, आप कितने खुश हुए. यू मस्ट हैव गिवन पार्टीज. इमेजिन ए यंग अंडर ग्रेजुएट and writing a paper with you, and that paper is published. He will be ecstatic and he will be your follower for life. And I think this much is due to be done. So two things we must do. One is research passion is one thing. Bhashan, like I am talking, is another thing. It is very easy to talk to all of you at the top of my voice, but to implement it is very difficult. And I think when NEP is implemented, we will again propose the consortium of universities work together and does this in a manner where it is the teacher and the students will evolve a SOP, but it is necessary that certain basic tools, learning tools, be given. Yeah, the bhasan that I am giving will be incomplete if I do not suggest, do not reflect on the facilities we have. Rajadhani College may be a more privileged college, but are we having good laboratories for you to teach the students? Or you are showing your finger and saying, assume that this is a thermometer. So this is something that I have been also arguing with the government of Odisha, and government of Odisha has been good. And also all college teachers, when you get some money for laboratory improvement, please don't put tiles on the floor, because that is easy. That is your comfort zone. आप एक सिविल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स को बोल दिए तू 5 लाख ले, टाइल लगा दे. 5 लाख का इक्विपमेंट खरीदना इज ए वेरी डिफिकल्ट जॉब बिकॉज इट इज ए नॉलेज जॉब. आप नहीं करते. I go to colleges, the best colleges tell me, sir, हमारा laboratory नहीं है. Then I go back, shout at the higher education and find out how much money they got last year. They have got 20 lakhs. What did you do with 20 lakhs? I come back again. So I move like a ping pong ball amongst them, and I find that they have put tiles, glazed tiles, badhiya carbonite tiles, and the area looks good. But if you do not do laboratory work, if you do not buy books for your library, if your children do not have books, and if the child comes, stands outside the library, gives a cheat to the librarian who is not happy that day, he says, जाओ बाद में आओ, ये किताब नहीं है, you do not computerize, then ये जो बड़े बड़े concept NEP में हैं, इसका कोई मतलब नहीं. वो बाहर जीरोक्स दुकान से खरीद के लाता है प्रोजेक्ट, और आप उसको देख के 95% देते हो. Then there is no point in having a seminar, talking, and मेरे जैसे बुढ़े को 1 घंटा 40 मिनट अपना गला खराब करके कुछ फायदा नहीं. So we must provide laboratory, we must provide library, and I think NEP, if the GDP, 6% of the GDP is going to be invested, please, we are going to come back to all of you to write an institutional development plan. In Utkal, I did an institutional development plan for all colleges which came in World Bank funding. And I found that each one of you started writing that I will make an auditorium, I will make 2 classrooms, but we need content improvement, madam. Knowledge is about content, and we must think about content. And that is a zone of discomfort. आप कुछ खरीदेंगे, आप कुछ डिजिटाइज करेंगे, मे बी यू आर नॉट फुल्ली अवेयर, बट आप टेक हेल्प. अनलेस यू गो टू डिस्कम्फर्ट जोन, भगवान भी nothing could be achieved unless Ramchandra went to forest. Then only he killed Ravana. भगवान कृष्ण भी जरासंध के साथ बहुत टेक्निक प्रयोग किए थे. So when gods have to work hard and go to discomfort zone, लोग भी जानना चाहिए. That is my worry. कि in 7 decades, 1000 university, 40 million students, 15 lakh teachers, and you add PhD research scholar, मैडम जैसे बोले 5%, about 0.5 million, 5 lakhs. 70 साल में हमने मलेरिया का एक ड्रग बना नहीं पाया. हमने भारत में इन हेल्थ साइंस in disease management, we have not been able to do much. And jahan technology mein hum independent हुए from mission departments like agriculture, like atomic energy, like space, जहां भी किए उनका जो फायदा हुआ, स्पिन ऑफ हुआ, our social scientists and social engineers did not take it to the public. And so we are now waiting for a revolution to happen. And I believe that this revolution must happen if there is a culture change. Very cleverly, Kasturi Rangan, who piloted this, has given us 15 years of time. You imagine his structure: 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. 5 3 8 3 11 4 15. So 15 साल टाइम दिया गया है. The earliest person who gets into 5, if he becomes curious, if he thinks in terms of unraveling the mysteries of the universe, and he acquires the analytical and logical tools to be a researcher, 15 साल के बाद there should be at least a culture, a inculcation of the spirit of finding new things. And by that time, most of the people who are like us, product of the British education, would be out of the story. And maybe we will build an India which might become Atmanirbhar, might so Vishwaguru. These are only terminology. I don't believe in any of them. I would believe that put your head down. I think this lab rat concept appeals to me very much. This is lab, you call it lab rat or Lord Ramachandra's Gunchi Musa. Just put your head down and do whatever you want to do, but do keeping the larger picture in mind. So, new policy, new India, new transformation, and who will do this? Because politicians are there, administrators are there, they will pass it, they will provide you money. The field workers are, आज जितने लोग सुन रहे हैं, मैं appeal to all of you. You are the field workers, and you are the product of British colonial education. My appeal to all of you would be, आज से वो mindset change कीजिए. बच्चों को क्यूरियोसिटी ड्रिवन फील्ड वर्क करवाइए. आप जानते हैं कपिल सिब्बल जी जब एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर थे, एक एक्सपेरिमेंट हुआ था इन स्कूलिंग, सेकेंडरी स्कूलिंग. It did not succeed. It did not succeed because teachers did not put enough effort to have. Doing activity oriented teaching is a little difficult. It is very difficult. आके ब्लैक बोर्ड में लिख के घर जाके आराम से खाना पकाना और भाजी लाने जाना is a very easy job. So it did not happen on ground, and so we came back, and it will be a historic mistake if the way it is formulated, the minimal amount we do not put. And without the teachers, I want all the 146 that are listening to find around you a problem and take it up for research. You don't need great equipment, but if you need an equipment, it is not available near, tell me, call me up, and I will find somebody who will provide equipment to you. If you want to do calculation and do not have a computer, call me up. I will find a computer system in Odisha. Odisha mein abhi every equipment is available. Every computational facility is available. They are not being used because we do not know how to ask a question. It is so our job is now to make a culture inculcation of a digital connectivity backbone, a learning tool backbone, a governance structure backbone, and these are jobs of the government. And government is determined to do this because we have found during this pandemic that this is a gap that government has to fulfill. But what is necessary that once this happened, our ambassadors and our educational warriors, which are all of you, must take this to heart. Don't, people may laugh कि अरे आज तक तो पढ़ा नहीं रहा था, आज इतना सिंसियरली कैसे पढ़ा रहा है. But forget it. There, change, transform yourself and bring in the research culture, because if it doesn't come to India and we depend on the West for everything, then the natural order of things, we won't have enough energy. We will go back to lantern, but we may not have kerosene. We will go back to all these things will vanish, and the climate change would play havoc with us. There will be mean sea level rising, and flood will come, and our crops will not be there, and our animals will also suffer. You have seen samples of this happening. So please make the new group of people who are coming with inquisition, with the culture of questioning, the curiosity. And आज के दिन में curiosity doesn't will not kill the cat. Curiosity is the mother of invention, and these times have changed. So in modern age, curiosity would be the mother of invention, and please culture it. So by and large, I have said whatever I wanted to talk to you. You have a lot of domain experts who are coming in next few days to talk to you. I am sure they will talk better. I just told what my common sense told and what I passionately feel that should happen in the state of Odisha. From our side, we will facilitate, and we have been facilitating. We have schemes of research. Research incentivization scheme runs for all faculty. Junior Research Fellowship for all net. You do not get JRF in center, but take this and run it well, and we'll be behind you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for all the practical examples you have given us, for all the practical advices you have given us. And I would like to just add one sentence over here. We are definitely a privileged group in Rajadhani College, as you rightly said. I'll add just a bit to it that we are the most privileged because we have our students. They are our real assets. And as a teacher of zoology, I'll say my students from Rajadhani College, whoever have passed out since 2013, they are the real gems. We have culture in our labs, and we are so proud of them that whatever you have said just now, with all limitations, they are into research. They all have that ability. They all have that curiosity to get into it. And till today, you won't believe, sir, from 2013 since today, every student that have passed out from our college are in touch with us in an organized way. Whatever we do in science or out of science, they are with us, and that is our real asset. I would like to differ at the stage that there might be some, we can say there might be some gaps in our research facilities or some infrastructural failures. But with such students, we are really privileged, sir. And that was our real intention of inviting you, so that not only our students of zoology from Rajadhani College, but all those who are deprived of such kind of practical exposure will get to hear something good from you, so that we can also initiate that research mentality, or to get into research in all the students amongst all the colleges in Odisha. That was our real intention. And here I would like our HOD Madam, Bandita Madam, to kindly share a few facts regarding the project which you just mentioned about. Madam, please will you shed some light on it?
So you'll be delighted to know, sir, despite whatever facilities we are having over here in Rajadhani College, this year we have generated 3 projects one related to cervical cancer awareness, sir. One related to breast cancer awareness. Sir. These are basically survey based to create awareness among students, and also one related to water pollution and what is a water pollution level at different places in Bhubaneswar, sir. So we just want to share that whatever it is we are trying to do, sir, we are trying to do, and we are motivated. We have been motivated since talking to you. Since we have interacted with you since refresher courses, sir, during January. Thank you so much, sir. You have been inspiration behind all our research work, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vandita Madam. Now I would request Dr. Rashmi Mahapatra Madam to kindly share a few words with us.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Honorable Speaker of the Day, Dr. Das, our Vice Chancellor, sir, our Principal Madam, and Vice Principal, sir, and Madam, and all the participants, organizer of the event, Sasmita Madam of Rajadhani College. We have heard from all of you. Sir, like there are no words how to tell how encouraging it was your deliberation, sir. So I want to highlight only briefly about your talk as well, since you are the ocean of knowledge, and today we are privileged to get few drops from that, sir. And am I audible? Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah. You are
Yes,
audible.
madam. Yes, madam.
Okay. Sir, thank you, sir, for such an enlightening and valuable deliberation. Your years of research, in-depth knowledge in every aspect of science, technology, social science, about everything, research and development, innovation. There is no words to, we can't admire. We can only get few drops of your knowledge. We are really privileged, sir. Your passion for research, your curiosity, your suggestions today. I have noted down everything. Since the time is short, I can't highlight on everything. Sir has given many suggestions regarding coming out from colonial education, and now the problem is like carbon-less, and we should focus on the more research towards zero wastage, and we should use like carbon-less, how it can be useful for our environmental protection and biodiversity, generation of various ways to get rid of this pollution, and specific problem on Odisha, like biodiversity conservation, marine resource conservation and utilization, language and literature, and get awareness about biobank, understanding human genome, and do the needful. Sir, your passion to discover and innovation is amazing, sir. And we have got lot of knowledge from you, sir, regarding this. And I'm sure that in future, we'll have more collaboration. We'll get more projects with your suggestion. If possible, you can help us to get more and more projects. Since this is it is a tribal university, and we have focused more we are now focusing more on research and how to improve the tribal community, their day-to-day life, how we can utilize the tribal resources, and how we can utilize those tribal students and their knowledge and their existing knowledge, like indigenous knowledge, their medicinal system, so that we can tie them up in research. They will also get education, since our institute is giving free education from LKG to PhD level. And now we are focusing more on research based on improvement of tribal community. In that way, it can be also utilized for whole our Odisha as well as global level. It will be useful. So, sir, your deliberation is really encouraging and very motivating. We have gained enough knowledge today from your talk, sir. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. And pranam, sir. Thanks one and all, dear participants. I hope you will be getting a lot of benefit from sir's talk. You have a lot to take away with you today from sir's talk. Thank you, sir. Pranam.
Thank you so much, madam. We had an interaction session, but I don't think there are some questions we can take up. So I would like to utilize this particular slot of time for my own self. I'm yet once again privileged today to have got the chance. Sir, thank you so much for gearing up for this revolutionary change which you were talking of. And I'm very sure, on account of all the teachers throughout Odisha, that a teacher and a student, the relationship matters. Once a student and a teacher get into that symbiotic relationship, everything is possible. And that is the only message we want to spread through this particular webinar series. And the only intention of arranging or conducting this particular series is to let the students know how good speakers we have, how eminent professionals are there in our field, how exciting this world of research is. That was our sole motto, and the start was terrific with all your advices. Thank you again, once again, for all your practical advices, and I hope all those will be imprinted in the long-term memories of all our students for years to come. With this, I would like to request Dr. Chittaranjan Bhoi, Vice Principal, Keys Dim to be University, to kindly vote of thanks.
Namaskar, very good evening to all of you. In fact, I'm privileged enough to extend my deep sense of gratitude to the dignitaries, guests, researchers, and delegates, those who are present in today's webinar. In fact, it is gratifying to know that this national webinar series is a collaborative webinar series. KISS University, in collaboration with Rajadhani College, is conducting this webinar basically for the researchers. In fact, today, we all are talking about research and the promotion of research activities across the globe. Well, I am assigned to extend my vote of thanks, which is a very top task at the end of every meeting. I am privileged to extend my gratitude to the keynote speaker of this evening, who is not only the keynote speaker, who is the attraction of this evening, Professor Ashok Das, who was the former Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, who wonderfully spoke on the scope of research in our country. He blamed the research of ancient time, I mean colonial time, post and post-colonial time. At the same time, he has shown his concerns over the malpractice going on in the field of research. Of course, this is true to a major extent. He was talking about plagiarism. He was talking about copy and paste activities in the field of research. And from this, we, the young researchers, those who are available today or present today, we should learn that research is not a copy-paste activity. One has to go deep into something to find out the gem. And this is a tough task for the researcher to go through. He also in his speech highlighted the higher education policy. And the central government is giving emphasis on the research activities in different universities. He also spoke on that. He also spoke on the stark realities and precarious condition of the research, researchers and guides. But he is not pessimist at all. He is very much optimist, and he invites the researchers to avail the opportunities available around us. Sir, I personally, I enjoyed your deliberation very much. As a researcher, not as a teacher of university, as a researcher, I am extremely delighted to listen to you, and I got lots of inspiration. And in fact, the research product is more satisfying than giving birth to a child. As a scholar of literature, when I write something and my writing gets published, my original writing gets published in national and international journals, I feel extremely delighted. My delight knows no bound. Similar is the case of the researchers in the field of science and various other fields. Therefore, I request the young researchers, those who are present, because I came to know that the young researchers of Rajadhani College and KIS University and a few others from other institutions are present today in this webinar. So I would like to tell the young researchers, dear friends, brothers and sisters, please try to enjoy the research work. And this will be more satisfying than anything else in the universe. Well, thank you very much, sir, for your kind deliberation. I would like to thank Professor Hare Krishna Satpathy, who is the advisor of KISS University, who has a rich experience of 13, 14 years as Vice Chancellor of 3-4 universities in this country, who has rightly said about the interdisciplinary approach which is adopted in KIS University during his tenure as Vice Chancellor. Yes, he is absolutely true. In fact, interdisciplinary activities is given importance these days, and this should be done. And in research, I often talk to Rasmi Madam, who is the coordinator of this webinar, regarding this interdisciplinary approach to research, how literature can be amalgamated with science, and science with philosophy, philosophy with culture, science with culture, and so on and so forth. And this is the call of the day. This is highly required, and that our advisor, sir, Professor Hare Krishna Satpathy, sir, advised us to do it. And then he also said about the city of the young researchers. They should come up and take up this task of doing more and more research in different fields, and this will really strengthen the research activities across. I would like to express my allegiance to Dr. Sasmita Sarangi, who is the principal and patron of this webinar, who is the principal of Rajadhani College. I extend my gratitude, madam, for making this webinar a collaborative webinar. And perhaps research is done like this. Collaborative research perhaps produces more result, more fruitfulness. This is what I believe. This is my perception about research again. So thank you very much for making this webinar a collaborative webinar. And thanks a lot for giving welcome address in the beginning of this national webinar series. Thank you, madam. I would like to extend my thankfulness to Dr. Bandita Ratha, who is the head department of zoology, Rajadhani College. In fact, Dr. Rath, once I saw her in a virtual platform, and today I saw her physically, and she is really dynamic. In cervical cancer, I was attending one webinar in which she was the speaker, and she spoke very nicely on cervical cancer, and I could find that she has done the real research in cervical cancer. Madam, thank you very much for your presence in organizing such webinar in a collaborative mode to, inspire the young researchers to take up research as their career. Thank you very much, madam. I would like to thank Dr. Rasmi Mahapatra, who is the coordinator of this webinar. Madam is always with us, and she has been doing a lot of project work here in KISS University. A lot of projects are in pipeline, and she's a great researcher. I salute her, and I'm also deeply inspired when she, does her work in a very defined way. Thank you very much, ma'am, for this collaborative work with Rajadhani College and coordinating this webinar in a very good way. I would like to thank the moderator of this session, who wonderfully moderated this session from the beginning till end. Thank you, madam, for moderating the entire session. I would like to extend my gratitude in the absentia of the Vice Chancellor of KISS University and my esteemed founder, KISS and KIT University, Professor Dr. Achyuta Samanta, for inspiring us to conduct such kind of collaborative webinars. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the organizers, those who have made this national webinar series a success. The inaugural session is a success. I would like to thank the young researchers, the participants, the delegates, the guests, and all the people those are present in this webinar for making this webinar a success. I thank all of you once again. With these words, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we end, just a reminder that we'll be continuing our series. The next talk will be on 11th November. Thank you, one and all.